Hey, everybody, we're back live. And that was just an interview I had done with Jerry Douglas from Catalina Yachts. He's been with them for 40 some odd years. Main guy down there, runs the factory, also does the designs. But I want to bring us back home a little bit to introduce Pat Garfield. Pat's been the owner of Farallone Yachts for 23 years now, and one of the top Catalina dealers in the nation. And she has lots of stories to tell. So, Pat, how'd you end up at Farallone Yachts?
Well, thank you for inviting me to come here today, Wayne. It's a pleasure working with you, and I really appreciate what you're doing here today. I think it's really excellent. My beginnings with Farallone are sort of amusing, at least to me. Years ago, at this time, they had a boat show every year at the Jack London Square. And I went to the boat show. I had sold one of my companies, and I went to the boat show to buy a cruising boat. And I had sailed on Catalinas as a kid back down in Newport Beach. And that back then they were the little 22s, and wasn't really thinking of Catalina as a cruising boat. So I was writing a check for I hate to say, a competitor's boat. And my friend came and said, you have to look at this Catalina. I said, no, I want a cruising boat. No, you have to look at the Catalina 470. It's really well built. It's this, it's that. I said, no, I'm writing a check. No, you got to go. So I got pulled over to the Catalina, and it was almost, love at first sight. There was, so much detail, attention to detail. The fit and finish was so nice. The salesman had just basically took the whole boat apart and showed me how the stringers were put together and how the whole built construction of the boat. And I immediately fell in love with this boat, ripped up my check, which just horrified the salesman that had paid for me to get into the show. Thank him for that. And so I bought right on the spot the Catalina 470. In fact, it was hole number one, and someone else had actually purchased the boat. And I was a little on the cocky side and said I would pay him more than he paid for it so I could have hole number one. And I can't really say what he said. But he loved his boat as well. It's actually the Frizzels. And so I got the very next hole that was available, which turned out to be hole number 7. And I first got the boat. I was just so thrilled to stay on it. And I didn't have a slip here at the marina, so they let me stay at Farallone. So I would come down a couple of times a week, and I'd stay on the boat. And I'd get up real early in the morning, and I'd put my little suit on, my nylons and high heels, and I'd get off the boat and I'd look around, and everybody was bright-eyed and smiling and tan. And I thought, I could do this. This could be something that I could do. So as I walked by the office, I stuck my head in. Tom Johnstone was the owner at the time. And I said, Tom, have you ever thought about selling? And he said, you caught me on a good day. Little did I know that any day would probably have been a good day. Long story short, I ended up buying Farallone. I loved the Catalina so much that I felt so passionate about being able to actually sell the boat that I bought the company, and sort of the rest is history. It's been a wonderful run. It's a fabulous company. They make, I think, the best production boat on the planet. And we've been very successful for years. We were the #1 Catalina dealer in the world. I'm 20 years into my 5-year plan of retirement. And I met Wayne at Sail GP, actually. And we got into a dialogue. And the next thing I knew, or he knew, I should say, he had purchased Farallone, and it's been a wonderful transition. They're a great group of people. He's got a very good team of people that he's working with, salespeople and technical people, as you can imagine. And it's been really a great run for me, and it's a great company to work with. And I'm just so pleased to have this transition into as nice a group as it's turned out to be. Atomic Tuna. They're good people to work with. Come down and see them. 1070 Marina Village Parkway, Alameda, 7 days a week. come buy a boat.
We're really honored to be able to take over this really esteemed brokerage here in Catalina dealer. When I took over, I knew about Catalinas. I had sold Catalinas. I liked Catalinas, but I didn't really know about them. And I went down to the factory and met up with Jerry Douglas, who you just saw the interview with. And he took me through the factory and explained all the reasons why Catalinas are better. And I walked away from that with a different understanding of Catalinas. And they're just fabulous, fabulous boats. We'll go through, have another session where we'll talk about why they are better. And you can compare them to the other boats out there. But I'm sold on them. They're just great boats. But getting back to Pat, so she bought this 470, and I think she got a little tired of people saying, Catalinas aren't really offshore boats. So what'd you do?
Well, that's exactly right. People would come in and say, well, just my wife and I, my husband and I, and, we want to cruise, but, it's too big a boat and it's not blue water and it can't be handled with just two people. So the captain that worked for me, Diane Murray, and I decided we would do the Transpac. So in 2005, we're the only two women that have ever double-handed in the Transpac race. And we took the 470. We raced against Cabo Rico 56, Jeanneau 54, all in our division, and beat all of them. We did come in the middle of the pack, but we did have some things on board that a lot of the other cruiser or racers didn't have, like a washer and dryer and 3 cases of wine.
At the beginning.
At the beginning. So we were long suffering. But we had a wonderful time, and the boat it was spectacular. It was, if you ever have an opportunity to do the race to Hawaii, it's well worth it. And Catalina can handle it beautifully. And she was just a wonderful downwind boat and very competitive as well. So at the end of that, then we turned around and sailed it back from Hawaii.
Just the two of you?
Also just the two of us.
2 over and back. That's a lot.
And to this date, no 2 women have ever done the Transpac, just double-handed. So that's kind of our feather.
Wow.
However, on the way back, we got caught in a gale. So that was a different level of excitement. But again, the boat did way better than I did.
Yeah, that's just amazing. And Pat's going to be participating in the women's panel. Is that tomorrow, I think?
Yep, tomorrow at 10.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So you'll get some more stories about Pat and her sailing tomorrow with the other women that are on the panel. But you said you were the #1 Catalina dealer. How many boats did you sell?
I think our best year we did about 50 new boats.
50 new boats. Wow, that's real. That's one a week.
We had a great run, and it's a fabulous boat. People, it's not uncommon to buy their 4th, 5th, 6th Catalina from us. It's if you have a good experience, you buy again, and that's kind of what we've seen over the years. So it's been really fun.
So how many repeat customers do you get?
I'd say 60-70% of our customers are repeat.
Yeah, and then the other ones, they're just finding out how good Catalinas are.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, interesting. That's pretty cool. So what made you one of the most successful brokers? I mean, you're selling Catalinas, of course, but what else did you do that made you one of the most successful brokers in the country, or the most successful for years?
Well, I went into selling Catalinas because of the passion I had for Catalina, for the line. I had kind of retired, and so I wasn't motivated necessarily by making a lot of money, although it didn't hurt. But our motivation was to provide a great product with great customer service, and to back up that purchase with, lessons for the customers when they purchased, continual warranty and hand holding. And we really we were really focused on making people's dreams come true, making them happy, and not motivated in just trying to sell a boat. And I think in the long run, that has really paid off. People appreciate that you care about what their dreams are, and you care about what their true needs are, and that we work very hard to build a boat that fit exactly how they want to use it, whether it's just bay sailing or whether it was cruising around the world. We had a number of boats that went world cruising. So I think our success was based around just being so customer focused. And I hope that's what you hear and what you felt, since you've been on board.
Yeah, for sure. We get people calling and, coming back, bringing the boats back because of Pat, and also, wanting to buy new boats because of Pat. So yeah, it's a big deal. That customer-centric focus is really, really something that stands out and people remember, and you get a customer for life, and they're Farallone customers. And, Pat is still helping out with me. I mean, I've got a lot to learn from her. And the customers, when they come in, they're always asking about Pat, and they don't know me yet, but they're learning. But yeah, it's really, really important that we do that. Yeah, Pat. So what's next? You going to go sail again, or you go sail to Hawaii?
No, I wish. I wouldn't mind sailing to Hawaii, but I do want to do some boating. That's really why I got into this business. And I have my Catalina 470 still, my original boat. And
yeah, you got a fleet, right?
I do have a little bit of a fleet. Thank you.
What else do you have?
Well, I see I have a Stevens, a 78-foot Stevens.
Beautiful boat. Absolutely beautiful boat.
He's a wonderful boat. I have my 470. I have a little Go Fast Protector, my little Porsche on the water, and a couple other little boats.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about Pat and her 470. You want me to tell this story?
I don't know what it is. I'm a little nervous now.
So Pat decided, just a couple months ago, that maybe she would sell the 470. And she actually got the boating contract.
I'm so embarrassed by this. I never did anything like this before.
And as it became reality that she was selling her 470, that she sailed double-handed to Hawaii and back on, she got a little nostalgic and decided that she really didn't want to sell the boat. So she ended up talking to the customer and helping them find another boat so she wouldn't have to sell her 470. And she still owns the Charmed Life.
It is. It is a charmed life.
Yeah, it is definitely a charmed life. All right. Well, that about wraps up our interview with Pat. Thanks for joining us. Pat Garfield, if you've got any questions for her, you can still get her at Pat at FaralloneYachts.com, right?
Correct. Pat G at FaralloneYachts.com.
Pat G at FaralloneYachts.com. She's got the same phone number, or contact us. We can put you in touch if you got anything you want to talk to her about, or any questions you want to ask, or just to meet her. She's great. She's a stalwart here on the waterfront. Everybody knows her, and you should too. All right. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And next, we're going to go and show you the new True North 34. It's an outboard model. Catalina bought the molds from True North, and Catalina is building them. This is the first one on the West Coast. It's hull number one. It's a great boat, beautiful. It's got a nice dark blue, flag blue hull, and it's fast. So you've got a choice on these boats. You can do a single inboard, or you can do these twin 300 Suzuki outboards. And with the outboards, you're getting 45 knots out of this boat. But she's just a great boat. She's a great looking boat. It's kind of a down east lobster style look, really classy. So we're gonna queue up and get you going on a little walkthrough, and then I'm gonna go down to the boat and I can answer questions for you guys. All right.